All right, everyone. Welcome to the semi-annual meeting for the Hampton Heights Civic Association. We're so glad you were able to join us tonight. I know we're competing with an Avs game, which is always dangerous. We certainly did not know that when we scheduled the meeting. We will be sending a recording out of this meeting, just so everyone is aware as well, to the members who couldn't make it tonight. Our agenda tonight is to welcome two guest speakers. The first will be a speaker on AI surveillance in Denver. And our second speaker will be from the Denver Public Library to talk about their service expansion while the library is being renovated. And then we'll close with an update on our HHCA board reorganization and updates from our committees. So with that, I turn it over to Dr. Robert Davis, who is joining us to help lead the AI surveillance discussion.
Thank you so much, Mark. I'm not sure if Isabella is in has joined or not.
I don't see her on the line.
Okay. My name is Robert Davis, and I'm with an organization called TOCA, Transforming Our Communities Alliance. It grew out of a community effort that was responding to the George Floyd protest called the Denver Task Force to Reimagine Policing and Public Safety. And one of the things that we're looking at is how do we empower communities to develop their own responses and their own boy, I'm sorry, my mind just drew a blank, but how to draw their own action plans, to draw their own action plans around public safety for their specific communities. And so I understand that I have 15 minutes. I'm going to do 10 minutes of presentation, which is now 8 minutes of presentation, and 5 minutes of questions and answers, if that's okay. Okay, wonderful. Just want to talk about data centers, AI. It's been all over the news. Now, here's the $1 million catch. I am not an expert in the area of AI. The person who is an expert really just could not be with us tonight. Please forgive us, and that is Christian Seidel. So I'm going to do the best I can, and please forgive me for all of the mistakes I'm going to make. But our as I just shared with you who we are, I'll keep on moving on. There are several types of surveillances that are already being utilized in the Denver area and in Denver in particular that I want to talk about tonight. I'm going to skip over body-worn cameras simply because I think we're all kind of aware, and body-worn cameras have been around so long. But I'm going to touch on and kind of briefly go over the other ones that are pretty prevalent in our communities now. And as I go through this, I want you just to think about something. I want you to think about one, is this something that is essential and necessary for our communities? So as you hear how they're used, what they are, how they're used, etc., are they essential for our community? Another way of thinking is that they are not, and we should just completely do away with them. So they're wonderful. We should just embrace them and move forward. They're terrible, and we just need to do away with them completely. Three, they're neither really good or bad. We just need to make sure we're utilizing them in the correct way. And then the last way to kind of I see us thinking about it is that they have some good, they have some bad, and we need to put some really strong guardrails around how we use this various technology. So I wanted to kind of put those four thinkings in your mind as we move forward to kind of see where you may fall out or fall on this. So the one that has received a lot of attention recently because of the flock contract that the city of Denver decided not to go with and instead went with Axon, and that is the automated license plate readers. And that is basically, it takes pictures of all moving cars, processes, and stores those images on a central server for future use. And the vendors include Flock, which we chose not to go with as a city. You also have vendors like Vigilant Solutions and Axon, which we did end up going with. And think about it kind of like a vehicle fingerprint. That's where we are now with the technology. that it's not just that you're driving a 19, I'm sorry, boy, I'm old. It's not that you're just driving a 2025 Ford Focus, but that's green, but they can actually look and see if you have any scratches on the car, and it really does a really clear identification of that specific vehicle. And so it can also do a movement analysis that does a vehicle journey, and it can search for approximately 30 days. And even some of the cameras that are out now can analyze human sounds and features. So like they're able to pick up sounds and things that are going on inside of the car. So you can even not only identify the car, but you would have some ways of also identifying the driver. And of course, that there is the one-to-one sharing just within the department, but then there's statewide network sharing and also nationwide network sharing capabilities. One of the challenges that a lot of people are pushing back, those who are pushing back, I'll say it this way, those who are pushing back on the license plate readers are pushing back for multiple reasons. But one of the reasons is because it can be very difficult to surmise the purpose of the various searches that are done once the license plates information has been put in. So when you ask the city of Denver, why did you request? Why is this being stored, or why did you request to get this license plates information? The data is, I'll be honest with you, and we've asked for it. It's very difficult to understand and to get a true meaning as to why it was used. And then there's the 30-day search feature, but there's no real limit on data retention period. And so we have seen contracts from 20 days to 27 months. And I'm going to open up a period for answers, questions and answers. I'm moving kind of quickly. As I said, body worn cameras, we kind of know a lot about those. So I'm going to skip over that. Then there are what are called real-time crime centers. And I'm going to read a little information about that if I can get my stuff to act right. But the vendors for those are vendors such as Flock, Axon, Zero Eyes, Constant Technologies. And the real thing behind these, and I'm just going through my notes here. As I said, this is a last minute thing for me having to take over. So thank you for your patience. But in February 2024, Axon acquired a corporation called Festus AI. And we're still learning about their analysis, but Festus operates what is called real-time crime centers, which allow police and other public agencies to analyze a wide array of video sources at a single point and to apply the AI data and apply AI that data that de- and apply AI that detects objects and people. Sorry. Officer locations, alerts, dispatch data, license plate reader overlays, and video feeds appear on a single live map to command field, and the real-time centers team stays aligned in real time. They integrate license plates readers, body-worn cameras, drones, community cameras. They can even use your neighborhood ring cameras and things of that nature to kind of map out what's going on in real time. And even if necessary, to be able to, hunt down someone or find someone who may have committed a crime. Vendors can opt out. So like store vendors and stuff can opt out and decide how and when they share video. But data retention periods, storage methods, and future
What?
use remains unclear. Processes Okay. Process referred to as integration is also, referred to as registration also is kind of blurry and indefinite. Then the next form of data that is being used are what are known as data brokerage. And data brokerage is an industry that has in the last 5 years alone doubled its revenue from 113 billion to 270 billion. Data is the data in the data brokerage industry is collected from both private and public sources, compiled by third parties, and then sold to a second round or chain of third parties. Sometimes this information is sold to marketers, and all too often, of course, the information is sold to law enforcement. Now, here's the catch. They claim that the data brokerage information is anonymous, but because it includes such things as your email address, addresses, and other identifying information, telephone numbers, etc., it is extremely easy for law enforcement, or in this matter, anyone, to be able to access this information and to utilize it, for whatever purposes, mainly, of course, for marketing purposes to you. Then another form of technology is drones as first responders, and that's where they, of course, attach cameras to drones. And there are multiple vendors that use that. They also have AI integration. They're also equipping it with facial recognition technology, and even to be able to deploy pepper spray and other, crowd deployment technology attached to it. So think about a drone that's kind of like used in the military. It has the capabilities of having some of that same technology to be deployed here in our city, Denver, and of course in other cities across the nation. So you've heard about the drones as first responders. Again, City Council has had huge conversations and debates around this technology. And then you have what is known as automated drafting and draft one action generation. Gen AI analysis is what is applied to action body worn camera footage and then generates a police report using that applied analysis. So what you also have is, with all of this technology, especially body worn cameras, the drones, well, they're not flock cameras anymore, but the license plate reader cameras, they're now wanting AI to generate the reports rather than having an officer to generate the reports. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is extremely concerning to me, because if you've ever used any AI, chat GPT or whoever it may be, you know that it is prone to making mistakes, that is prone to misinterpreting information, giving inaccurate information, etc. And when you're talking about somebody's freedom being on the line and then asking AI to actually capture that, I would much rather a human being review the video. I know it's longer and more tedious. I would much rather a human being reviewing it and doing a report or writing a report based off of what they personally saw and experienced.
All right.
And
Thank
so,
you, Dr. Davis. We're at the end of our allotted time. I would like to take some questions though, if that's okay with you.
okay, yes, let's go to questions.
Great. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Dr. Davis?
Very interesting stuff.
Thank you, Byron.
Yeah, I don't have any. I just comments.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, there's not a lot of time. This could be a whole discussion, a whole
Yeah,
meeting.
I guess let me ask a question to wrap us up. What would you recommend folks do if they want to learn more, or if they would like to be more aware, or be part of the initiative?
Well, there's so much information. I would encourage individuals to begin to do research. I think that this is such a vital point of what's happening, and it's so prophetic that you had us to stop right here on this particular slide. What Benjamin Franklin said: "Those who give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." And I kind of think that this is really important, that we as a society, that we don't do a knee jerk in either direction. This is very new technology that's being brought in. And when you're talking about someone's civil liberties, when you're talking about someone's freedom, we've got, unfortunately, there's been a lot of people who've gone to prison for extended periods of time because someone saw the wrong person. They got on the stand and said, "Hey, I saw that person right there, and it was the wrong person." And so we know that if humans make this kind of mistake, we definitely don't want to put someone's freedom and someone's liberty in the hands of technology. Number two, we know that whenever you're talking about data that has the potential of generating billions and trillions of dollars in revenue for large corporations, knowing that our politicians will do whatever the highest bidder asks them to do, it's just the nature of the beast. We have to be very careful about the type of data that is being collected on regular everyday citizens. Lastly, our founding fathers did not want our government to have access to every aspect of our life. I mean, that was literally what the first several articles of the Constitution were about, was ensuring that you are safe in your persons, you're safe in your property, you're safe in your privacy. And we're actually giving all of this up. And there is a financial incentive for these corporations to provide this technology to law enforcement, but then to provide this technology to retailers and to people who are using it in order to make money off of everyday citizens. So I would encourage everyone to do as much research as you can, and then reach out to your city council members, reach out to your state legislatures, reach out to your congressmen. I think that there needs to be strong guardrails put in place to protect the citizens so that we do not end up losing our liberties.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Davis, for spending some time with us, for all the work that you do, and for educating us about what is happening in our city and our state when it comes to AI surveillance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. With that, we'll move to our next guest speaker, who is joining us from the Denver Library. And I will be sharing her presentation for her. Great, Erica, thank you so much for joining us. If you, oops, and you're seeing my presenter mode. Let me figure out a better way to present this. No. Erica, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Thank you. I understand you're at an event, which is why you're joining us from your car. We appreciate your time. I will figure out this.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I so apologize that I'm doing this from my car. I actually am not the kind of person that wants to do this kind of thing from the car, but I am at a community event and just didn't have time to get to a safe place. So just in my car. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Erica Martinez, and I'm the Director of Communications and Community Engagement for the Denver Public Library. And I'm here today to share with you a few updates about the renovations that are happening across the city, in particular in the Southeast Denver area. I want to share that I am not the expert in construction. I was trying to get one of our facilities folks to come and be here to hopefully answer some questions that you might have, but you get me, so I know just a little bit of everything, and I hope that today's presentation provides you with a few updates. So the first thing, you can go ahead and move to the next slide, Mark. Thank you. The first thing I'd like to share is that we are, thanks to Denver voters, we are in progress with several of our bonds. So we have Elevate Denver that we have currently happening, as well as Rise. And then we also will begin Vibrant Denver, which is the newest bond that Denver voters approved at the end of last year. And so I think it's important to share that, there is multiple bond projects happening at the same time. And we're doing our best to manage that. The other thing too that I'd like to share is, bonds are critical for maintaining our buildings. Honestly, we really couldn't continue to keep our buildings open if it weren't for bonds. So thank you to everyone who voted for them. But in addition, what we have found is that, we scope a project for a bond, and then it then goes to the voters, and then perhaps we wait a few years, sometimes 5 years or so, and the scope is no longer appropriate, right? And so our DPL fund, Strong Library, Strong Denver, it also has supported the majority of our bonds, and I wanted to share that with you. This slide right here has a couple of updates that I want to share with you. The first one is obviously the Schlesman branch. That branch is currently in design phase for the phase 2 of the project. So the bond phase for Schlesman is actually complete, but like I mentioned to you, we've needed to add scope to projects that were not funded through the bond, and so we are currently in the phase 2 of that. We're going to get new HVAC. There's a roof and envelope work that is taking place all year. And so right now we are shooting for reopening in Q1 of 2027. The next one is the Hampden branch. That one is in construction phase. We have a ton of infrastructure work that is happening, and I'll share some photos with you in just a little bit, but that one is expected to also open in Q1 of 2027. Eugene Field is both actually Eugene Field and Ross University Hills. Those are in pre-construction phases. There's permitting that's happening right now, and they're working on decommissioning the building so that it's ready for construction. Both of those, well, the Eugene Field branch, we're looking at Q3 of 2027 for completion, and then Ross University Hills completion in Q4, end of the year next year. I decided to share the last 3 here just because Ross Broadway is an interesting branch. Obviously, it's closer to downtown, but what we've learned is that a lot of people use it on the way into work. And so we know that a lot of people from across the city, and especially the Southeast area folks, end up using that branch for pickups and for drop-offs. So I wanted to share that with you too. This one is currently in construction phase. I'll also share some photos of this, and we'll get a really great addition, which will be a community space to that branch. If you've been in that branch, it's super tiny. They don't have any community space. And so we're really excited that through additional funding, not just from the DPL fund, but also a private donation, we were able to increase the scope here and add a community space to that. And I'll share some photos of that. The Ross Phyllis Big Pond and the Globeville are obviously not near this part of the city, but we're getting ready to reopen the Ross Phyllis Big Pond. It was formerly Ross Barnum branch, and that one we're getting ready to open the second week of June. So we're super excited to be able to open that, and that really added an entire floor, the basement. We opened up the basement to the community, and so really critical renovation there for that community. And then the Globeville branch, we broke ground on it at the end of last year. We celebrated that a couple weeks ago, but that one's expected to be open at the end of 2027 as well. So that one's in construction. So here are just some photos. This one's a Hampden. There was a slab. That's what I call it. I feel like that's what construction folks have called it, but there is definitely a slab, a foundation that was laid down and poured earlier this year. And so again, this will eventually host a new community room at the branch, which we're really excited about. And then right now they're working on drywall work in the existing structure inside. So those are just some photos of that. Next slide. One of the things that we're really excited about for Hampden is that it will have this little courtyard. And so here are just some photos, some renderings of what we envision that will look like. Next slide. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. This one's a Ross Broadway. Again, I know that that's not near, so near, but I do feel like there's a lot of folks who use it. And, they're going to get an addition. If you go to the next slide, you could see sort of this community space where we're going to have garage doors that open. And so we'll be able to just create a really great connection space for people when there is a program, and be able to have some meeting space right outside of that meeting room. Next slide. Construction folks really like the slabs of concrete. So this is just our team and all of the work that's happening currently at Broadway. That's a really big renovation for us. Honestly, it's going to be a game changer for that community. The next one is a Ross University Hills, some renderings, a ton of work here. The design for the renovation is complete now. And so we are working on the unfunded work, which includes HVAC systems and restrooms. And so we're really excited about this one as well. Next slide. So I wanted to spend some time just talking about some of the services that are available to you as this is as this part of the city is the branches are predominantly closed. We have added some expanded hours at Virginia Village and Ross Cherry Creek. We also offer home delivery services to anyone in the city who's unable to get to a library due to physical ability or transportation. And so I've added that information here in case you have if you are somebody or you know somebody who would benefit from this service. Our community resource team continues to offer a free and voluntary support to anyone facing life challenges. And there's honestly spread throughout the entire system, throughout the entire organization. Our plaza programs, obviously we've got plaza programs happening at the branches that are open, but we've also expanded and created some partnerships with partner locations in the community so that folks don't have to go far away for those programs. And so that's also a really great resource. I put our one of our websites here, which demonstrates when you go to that website, denverlibrary.org/southeast, you'll be able to see all of these things that I just listed and dates of like programs and that kind of thing. Next slide. We have 2 new bookmobiles coming to Southeast Denver, which we're so excited about. They're starting their routes next week. Just to give you a sense of where we're headed, that one of the bookmobiles will stop at Schlesman Library every single Monday from 10 to 5:30 p.m. That's every Monday. And then we're also in Hampden Heights every Wednesday from 1:30 to 5. And so we're really looking and creating different partnerships with organizations in the community so that we can come to you. And so here right now, if you have an idea of where we should stop by, here's a QR code. If you don't want to use a QR code, we put a link below so that you could take that survey. It's super simple, but it asks where we should stop. We're continue to build that schedule so that we really these 2 bookmobiles are specifically dedicated to this part of the city. So we want to make sure that we're getting to all of those areas where there's no service or it's too far or it's necessary. So please take that survey and let us know where you think we should stop. Next slide. So the question always is like, how do I learn about progress? There's a variety of different spaces where information lives right now. So right now you can go to denverlibrary.org/bond projects. Here, there's fact sheets for each project. If you are nerdy like me and want to see all of that detail, we have fact sheets there. We also post quarterly updates on our website. I shared with you the Southeast page as well. That's dedicated just to Southeast Denver. We're pushing out information via our city council newsletters as well. We're pushing out information in our newsletters as well. And so if you don't receive those, you can also sign up there. There's a link. You can follow us on social media as well. And then you can, if you have questions, feel free to email us. That email address actually goes directly to me and a couple of my team members. So we will see it if you have any questions related to the renovations or anything in general, honestly, related to the library. We did start hosting these coffee and construction drop-in events. We did one last week at a local coffee shop near Schlesman. This one in particular is at Virginia Village. It's on Saturday, June 13th from 10 to 11. And it really is intended to, our director of facilities management will be there. So he'll get to answer all of the in-depth questions that you might have. But if you want to talk to our team about any of this, any specifically the construction projects, We will be there on Saturday, June 13th. We're working on another one for July, more so in your area right now. The other way that you can stay connected, and we're so close. We will have a dashboard that's public, and we'll have all of the information related to the renovations. And this will be updated quarterly. And we're really excited just because we know that some people like to dig into the details, and this is for those folks, right? We'll have updates every quarter with photos and that kind of thing. I think one of the most important things that I've learned is, it's really, I recognize that we're asking you all to come to us for information. And so, I want to make sure that we're trying to push information out. So that's why we're utilizing the newsletters from our city council folks. We're gathering emails right now. I'm happy to send you a link so that you could sign up for a newsletter, and you won't get a ton of stuff, but we'll be able to push out quarterly information to you so that you at least get to see what we're working on and where we're at with things, and feel like you at least have an outlet to ask questions. So that is it for me. Any questions, anything that I didn't cover that you were hoping that I'd cover?
Yeah, anybody have a question or a comment or want to see some of the renderings or information again? All right, well, if that changes, here is the email again, community@denverlibrary.org. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, or concerns, please reach out and Erica will see that. Erica, thank you so much for all that you're doing for Denver. We love our libraries and our librarians. And we're so honored to be hosting the Wednesday afternoon bookmobiles in, I believe, our parking lot of the Swim and Sport Club by the park.
Yes, we are so excited. I'll actually have to make sure I go there. I'm stopping by the Schlesman. I'm going all over the place. I'm like, I want to see all this whole thing. So yeah, and again, if you have any thoughts on where else we should go, please fill out that survey. It's super simple. And as part of that survey, you'll be asked for your email address, which we will include in our distribution for our updates. Thank you all so much for having
When
me.
was the Hampden one supposed to be done? Mark, do you know?
What's
What
that?
was that?
When was the Hampden library supposed to be?
It's supposed to open at the first quarter of January. Is that right, Erica?
Okay.
Right.
Q1 January. Cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, now I'm having some technical difficulties. Bear with me one moment while I re-find the slides that I was using for the rest of our presentation. Here we go. All right. We've had our two guest speakers, one on AI surveillance and the other from the Denver Public Library. So we're going to wrap up by reminding you of our board reorganization. And now that we have reorganized and we have committees who are getting up and running, we wanted to share some updates. So when possible, the committee rep or the board rep for the committee will speak, but some of them were not able to be here today. And in that case, I will provide the update. As a reminder, we decided to do this last off season for several reasons. First and foremost, we are a member-owned nonprofit, so it is up to us if we want to get things done to find ways to do it ourselves. And many hands do make light work, and we're seeing much fruit from our early labor in getting more people on deck. The other thing was that we would like to, especially with the expansion of our R&O boundaries to now more than 1,800 households, we want to make sure we're providing services beyond the Swim and Sport Club and reconnecting with other R&O objectives, which we have been able to get started. So I'm excited to share those updates with you. Here is our current board. And those in bold are ones who have just recently been added since our last annual meeting in November. So here is everybody. I will highlight our new members and thank them. So Megan Peterson has joined the board and stepped into the role of chairing what is now a committee for membership. So thank you to Megan. Hannah Roganic, who is on the line and will be sharing her slide, also joined the board recently and is leading up our new social committee. Karen Long is not actually on the board, but she is serving as the rep of the board, along with Azaki Robbins, our secretary, for the Sports and Recreation Committee, which is also a new committee. And then Allison Hargrove has joined the board as an at-large board member, and she is also a member of the Financial Oversight Committee, which I'll be sharing a little bit of updates from them in just a minute. So getting to one of our committees, the R&O and Community Outreach Committee. This is a new committee of the board that is focused on all things related to R&O objectives. I chair up this committee, and I left myself off as a member of the committee. But I am the board rep for this committee, and joining me is board member Christine Everson, and then other folks from the community, Deirdre Oss, Deb Demling, Louise Todd, Carol Heinisch, and Dina and Byron Johnson. We have met a few times in this year, and one of the first things we tackled is Mayor Mike Johnston is arranging for quarterly meetings between him and the R&Os. So the first of those was hosted, and 2 of our members were able to join for that meeting. And we're looking forward to the next meeting, and we've been brainstorming whether we might be able to bring him here to Southeast Denver for one of those, to Hampton Heights, or otherwise host him in our community. I would like to share this project that was brought to us by our member Deirdre Oss. Let me make sure you can see my screen here. Yes, you can. So this is a man she knows who is doing work with neighborhoods to help with space making. And this is particularly called the Flags of Denver. So he's worked with different communities around Denver to design a flag for their community that represents them, which they can then use in various ways across the neighborhood. So here are the neighborhoods he's already completed. Now, for all of those, I think he did the designing himself, maybe in consultation with the community. So we're really excited that we will be hosting the first collaborative design workshop with Steve Chester of Narrative Designs. So look for more information on that to come soon. We will be hosting a public event that anybody is welcome to, where we will share ideas and designs that we will eventually form into a flag for the neighborhood that we will vote upon as a community, and then be able to display not only at our entrances, but also at our own homes if people are interested. Otherwise, our main priorities are how do we share all of the different kinds of information and resources that we receive from the city and county of Denver in ways that people can access them if they would like to, but don't feel like they're getting overwhelmed. We get several emails every day related to different services in the city. So we're exploring ways of sharing that information for those who would be interested. And soon we will be undertaking a questionnaire to get input from you all about what you might like to see us focus on. And of course, anybody is welcome to join this committee if they are interested. With that, I turn to Financial Oversight Committee. This is chaired by our treasurer, Ben Dengerink, and joined by members of the Hampton Heights Swim and Sport Club and R&O, Allison Hargrove, Blaine Harvey, and Troy Hendelman. I will provide the updates as Ben and Allison and others were not able to attend tonight. Their priorities are streamlining our financial records and accounts to establish a clear, accurate financial position across all stakeholders, developing financial priorities that include building a reserve for emergency needs, strengthening overall fiscal stability, and paying down our loan for the renovations at the Swim and Sport Club. They've created a 5-year membership fee strategy, which includes a recommendation to support the long-term sustainability of the pool. So there was a rather large increase this year, but we are committed to trying to keep that future increases to below 3% for the next 4 years. And then they established and prioritized grounds and capital maintenance plans, including immediate repairs. Some of you may have already seen the ceiling of our parking lot at the Swim and Sport Club. We also needed to repair boiler and a water pump, and also considering future possible investments from our master improvement. All right, membership committee. I'm sorry you have to look at this dull slide with data and listen to me some more. But Megan Peterson, our new board member and new chair of this, what is now a committee, joined by Melissa Trujillo and Sarah Verni-Lau. In terms of the Swim and Sport Club, we are up to 233 total paid memberships for this season, which is already one more than we ended at last season. And that includes 10 brand new members who have paid an initiation fee. 5 members have decided to defer for this year, so they are still planning to come back next year, but paid a deferment fee to keep their membership active till next year. We lost 4 people, mostly to moving outside of the neighborhood. There is room for more. Our previous cap was 245. We did increase that to 260 for this season. So we would love to see us get closer to that cap, as earlier than later would be better for us. So we are exploring ways to advertise, recruit, and maybe incentivize folks to join us this season if they're interested in coming to us. Community events. Amy is on the line. Is there anything you would like to share with us, Amy, from this slide? Oh, I think we lost Amy. She did send me a private message saying she would need to drop a bit. Oh no, Amy's on the line, but she is also at work. So it's possible we can't hear from her right this moment. So Amy is joined by our other board member, Pam Lee, and then other members of the community, Brandon Stover and Megan Guest. They've already executed one event, the Easter egg hunt, and they added to that something called a community swap, which they hope to make an annual tradition following the Easter egg hunt every year. As we just learned, the bookmobile will be at the pool on Wednesday afternoons this summer from 1:30 to 5 p.m. starting this coming Wednesday, and Amy was our point person for that. So thank you, Amy, for coordinating that. We will have a 3-part movie night series this summer. We already have committed, therefore, to at least 3 movie nights, and there will be a series of Guardians of the Galaxy. So we hope you can join that, and those events are open to non-pool dues-paying HHCA members.
So is that at the pool?
What's that?
Is that at the pool or outside?
Yes, these will be at the pool. And if you're an HHC member, you are welcome to purchase tickets to the movie nights at the pool.
Cool.
We do need to wait towards the end of summer for those because the sun does not set until too late, and it doesn't get dark enough for the projectors to work until August. So we'll do that 3-part movie series toward the end of the season. If you have any ideas for fun community events, please do reach out. Let us know. These can be pool events. These can be open to the entire community. And that brings us to another new committee. And we do finally have somebody else you can listen to on the line if Hannah is still on the line. So I will let Hannah read these updates to you.
Okay, so we are the social committee. It's me, Lisa, and Leslie. We have been working hard planning some really fun social events to be hosting at the pool this summer. You can see the list of them there. There's quite a few, so I won't read them off. If you see some or you don't see something there that you think would be really fun, we are open to hearing about like any idea you might have. And then we do have surveys that will be posted. Hopefully we can blast them in an email, but also they'll be around the pool. Just a quick little QR code you can scan and take this survey. We also created an Instagram page, which is Hampden Heights Sport Swim. If you want to go follow us on Instagram, we'll be sharing our events there and just pool updates. And our first event is actually this Saturday from 4 to 6. We'll be by the Snack Shack where we will have more information on these events and whatnot. And yeah, we hope you guys can meet us there, join us, meet us, see us, come check us out.
Yeah, great. We do hope to leave the pool open to finish watching the Saturday 8 Avs game. I see, I just checked the score. It's still 0-0 in the second period, so nobody needed to not join us tonight. So look for that. Possible keeping the pool grounds open past closing time so you can stay and watch the end of that party. This is a new committee. They're looking for kind of low-hanging fruit ways of getting us more engaged, especially at the pool for our pool members, but also we are eager to find ways to engage members from our neighborhood as well. That brings us to our Pool and Grounds Committee. This one is focused entirely on the pool. It is chaired by board member and pool manager Katie Evers, and she is joined by Nick Krosky, Pam Lee, Byron Johnson, Ted Atchity, Elizabeth Steed, and Ali Pineda. Some important updates to the pool and grounds. We are working on an internet upgrade. We are also looking to make the fence more secure by securing the base of the fences into the ground, and we'll be asking for volunteers to help us with that. Doing it in-house will save us a lot of money. We've already set up wasp deterrents, and we've had our new pest control company come by above and beyond to help make us as pest-free as possible. I do remind folks that we are living outside as an organization, so that is something we have to get used to as well. We'll be having twice monthly volunteer days, which will focus on things like cleaning the grills, weeding the grounds and other groundskeeping, and keeping them looking beautiful and amazing. That said, on a daily basis, we do ask you to please clean up after yourself whenever you're using the grills, especially. We've had some sprinklers repaired and they are up and running. We have some hedges that need to be replaced, so that will happen this week. We invested a lot in security cameras this off-season. We now have 24-hour service ensuring the safety of our grounds. We have a new trash and recycle provider set up for this season. We are in the process of having our gates fixed. Please remember not to slam them. That will help keep them operational. And then as we open on Friday and Saturday this weekend, you can find the new front gate code on your membership dashboard. And these are not to be shared with non-members. There is a financial penalty if we do find that this has been shared. Even if it's friends who are meeting you and you think you can trust them, we ask you just not to. Please just meet them at the door. Thank you very much. If we do see non-pool members accessing the pool, we will have to follow up on that. All right, Sports and Recreation Committee. I'll let Zaki, our secretary, who is the board rep, discuss this slide.
Hi there. I am board liaison to the Sports and Rec Committee, which is chaired by Karen Long, and Kevin and David are also on it. Just a couple of quick updates. We'll be offering swim lessons this year with Blake Freese. All kids from infants through teenagers, but you have to be a member. There'll be 20 and 30-minute sessions starting next week and lasting for 4 weeks, and the classes will be between 1:30 and 3:30. There is a sign-up form to reserve courts and participate in social open plays twice a week, and you can find that on the online portal. This is for reserving the tennis court and the sports courts. And along with that, we're launching a new sport court only membership pilot. $500 per membership. It gives you access to tennis and pickleball courts and gives you the ability to make a reservation twice a week and the use of grills. The reservation schedule is still being worked out, but in general, there will always be one court that's open, both to sport court members and to regular pool members on a first come, first served basis. But the other court at certain times of the day will be reservable by people holding memberships. If you have any other questions, you can contact Karen Long for rules and specifics, and her email address is here.
Great. Thank you, Zaki, and thanks to Karen for organizing all of this. I do want to emphasize for those on the line who are listening to the recording who are not members of the Swim and Sport Club, this is an opportunity to purchase a membership where you can still have access to the sports courts, not only during the pool season, but also beyond the pool season. And Christine Everson, I don't think Christine is on the line. Christine is currently a committee of one. This is the one committee where we always have a hard time getting folks to join us. We could use help in anywhere. And if you're interested in joining any of the committees, please do reach out. But this is a committee where we really could use more help, and it could really help us keep our costs down. Fundraising and sponsorship. Silent auction for the Swim and Sport Club is underway. Bidding ends May 31st. It does include 5 tickets to the Savannah Bananas, if that's of interest to you. Check it out, as well as the other awesome items that we have to bid on. We will be having an ice cream social sponsored by Monica Van Buskirk and Gina O'Souls. Those are 2 folks running for office in the state of Colorado. That was supposed to be scheduled for Friday, but due to the weather forecast, we are actually rescheduling that to Monday, Memorial Day, which looks like a beautiful day. So we'll be having ice cream treats given out, and that is brought to us through our sponsorship and fundraising committee. Our opening day cookout has also been rescheduled to not opening day Saturday, but to the following day, opening family day Sunday. So Sunday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. or as long as supplies last. We'll be having an opening day cookout sponsored by Yaron Marcus of the Marcus Team Realtors. He's an annual provider of this early cookout. So thank you to Monica, Gina, and Yaron. As I mentioned, the committee would really benefit from some additional members. Christine would be very grateful to welcome anybody who is willing and able to help. If you know of any businesses or members who are interested in sponsoring an event, joining the committee, or anything else related to fundraising or sponsorships, we do have a dedicated email address, hhstsponsorship@gmail.com. That's a wrap in terms of our agenda and our updates. Sorry for the pause there. You're welcome to join the board, to join a committee. As we've said, here is a summary of our kind of goals in terms of commitment and expectations. So yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. And then we do have time if folks have any questions or concerns. I see Scott Hogard has raised a point in the chat about these new scooters. Yes, they seem to be much more popular in our neighborhood than the Lime scooters were. For those who aren't able to access the chat, Scott writes, VO scooters now a designated drop-off site on the curb at the park entrance. They've been spotted in the bike parking slots on pool property, which is private, so we should be careful about that. And apparently our city council rep has stated that we can't do anything to have this site eliminated. Scott, are you still on the line? Would you like to say anything else? Okay, well, thank you for raising that. And we will look at, I see there you're unmuted.
Oh,
Great.
hi, it's actually Chris Hogard.
Okay.
I'm just using Scott's computer.
Sure.
I've been watching the VO scooters being delivered on a regular basis right here on the curb next to the pool at the park entrance.
Yep.
And I've asked or reached out to our city council rep, Diana Romero Campbell, and her office replied, as mentioned in what you read, Mark, about there's nothing, it's a done deal. So I just, because I live right across the street, I can see the regular drop off of the scooters and they're not going away. So they are being used and they're being replaced. But I also have noticed that they're being left, I guess they're on the pool property. So
yeah,
I'm just making a mention and
letting
everybody know that I try to take a deeper dive into what's going on with those. And I guess there's nothing.
Yeah.
So just sharing.
Yes, thank you. And we appreciate it, and we'll keep our eyes and ears open. And when I see Diana, I'll mention it again and just see if we can get an update. Yeah, I've seen them around a lot, more than I used to see those kinds of things around. But I have not yet witnessed them on our property, but I believe you that they're ending up there. So we'll take that into consideration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Byron asked an important question. With the sports courts only membership, how do we know people won't use the pool as well? Yes, this was a big point of discussion among the board. And ultimately, this is part of why it is a pilot, so we can see how it goes and what we can learn and how easy it is to keep track of. So we're starting with a limit of, I think, 10 to 12 people. And we feel that that's a manageable amount that we can kind of keep our eyes on it a little bit more carefully. But yeah, it is essentially going to be an honor system with the added reality that almost all of us know each other pretty well and know who is member and who is not. And lifeguards have similar ideas. So we're going to see how it goes with 10 to 12 this summer. And if we encounter any problems, then we'll figure out how to deal with it. That said, if anybody is caught doing that, they will be immediately removed from the program without a refund. So it's a pretty severe penalty if you do transgress. So that's the other reality. Plus, we feel that generally this will be people who are not really interested in the pool and are looking just to use those courts. So we'll be doing a little bit of vetting to see who applies and what their real interests are and keeping a close eye on it. But good question. And please help us. If you see anything, please let us know.
So is that to bring in a little bit more funds just from another source?
Yeah, that's one of the main motivations for having renovated the sports courts was to increase revenue generating opportunities through them. And one low-hanging fruit opportunity, well, one is to use them in the off season, and this is part of that. But the other question is during the season, we have 4 courts. They're usually not all in use. Can we get some extra revenue off of that?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an extra $6,000 or so of revenue this summer as we pilot it and see how it goes. Yeah. Thanks for the question, Byron, who is serving on 2 different committees. We really appreciate that. Thank you, Byron. Scott asked about time limit per use. This is another thing we're kind of seeing how it goes. We do have the reservation system. I think on the reservation system, there may be some specific limits. Zaki, if you have any questions, additional information you can share, please feel free. But this is, another thing we're looking to see how it goes and if there are abuses. But we are very conscientious of the fact that we want to make sure that there are still courts available for our members to use, our regular HHSS members. So again, if you're seeing issues, if you're noticing things, bring it to our attention. We'll try to nip it in the bud right away. But we're hoping that it will be something that equilibrates between the reservation system and the pilot study size. We'll see how it goes. Zaki, do you have anything to add on the timing?
Yeah, just the thought, not on like time limit in particular, but that these the pool of sport court memberships will be limited. I think it's 10. And each one of them will be limited in the number of times a week that they can make a reservation. So, and at the same time, we are asking kind of full paying pool members to also make reservations. So there will be an opportunity for kind of historic members to make sure that they are able to use the courts when they want to use them. But with starting a small pilot and limiting the number of times that they can register, we're trying to have the most minimal impact on the wider pool community as possible.
Yeah, and I would say that the minute we learn that there's issues arising with members not being able to access the courts, we'll do something to make sure we address it. But yeah, I forgot that they're also limited to 2 times a week, but they could be there all day. So I hear you, Scott, and we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll try to adapt as we can. Other questions, comments, updates? All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. Thank you to those who are taking the time to watch the recording of this. If you have any questions, any concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can email us at hhcaboard@gmail.com anytime. And also feel free to, I was going to say, feel free to reach out to us at the pool, but actually we prefer you don't come up to us at the pool when we're trying to relax. Sometimes I'm okay with that, but I don't want to speak on the behalf of everybody else. So actually, yes, please email us if you have an issue or find other ways to reach out. But yeah, we do thank you. We're thrilled to see so many volunteers. We could still use more, and we are still figuring out how to organize ourselves now and be efficient. But we hope you start to see more things happening and that you appreciate them and enjoy them and consider joining us and helping to serve each other and our community. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Go Avs. I see it's still 0-0 halfway through the second period, so that we're already halfway through the whole game. Very unusual to see the Avs in a 0-0 game. But yeah, thank you, everybody. Look forward to seeing you this weekend. It will get warmer toward the end of the weekend.
Yep.
All right, take care.